Yeah.
Great morning, great morning. Happy Wednesday. It's time to rise and refocus. Good morning, beautiful people. I'm excited to be here with you this morning. Time to rise and refocus. Let's go. Let's go. Rise and refocus. Let's go. Let's make it happen. Let's get up. Let's get up with some energy. Let's get up with the mindset of focusing. Focusing. We want to refocus. There's so many areas in our lives that we need to refocus in. We've lost focus, right? We've lost our way. We've gotten distracted. We've gotten off track. There's a story. In the 1800s, there was a king in this province, and to this day I don't know why he chose to do this, but he did. He said that all the babies that are born will go from the parents' house into this one house. All the babies would go into this one house, and there were two rooms. One room, I don't know how he selected which baby went. It was just random, right? So you had two separate rooms filled with babies. A lot of babies were being born at that time. It was interesting. And so he decided he was going to do an experiment with these babies. And in one room, they were going to be fed. That's it. The maidens and the nurse mothers would come in and just feed the babies and leave. In the other room, they would come in, they would feed the babies, they would hold them, they would nurture them, they would talk to them, they would sing to them, they would rock them to sleep. And interestingly enough, the babies that only got fed died. The babies who got nurtured and catered to and talked to and fed and changed and all the things, they lived, they thrived, and they went on to go about their lives. There's a few morals of this story, but the one that I want to focus on is what you feed grows and what you neglect dies. So many of us are feeding things in our marriage, in our relationships, in our parenting, in how we show up every day that need to die. And many of us are starving the things that need to be fed. What is distracting you? What is distracting you? What do you need to focus on that you're not focusing on? And what do you need to stop focusing on that you are focused on? Listen, distraction, distraction is the enemy of your destiny. Distraction is the enemy to your success. Distraction is the enemy to your marital bliss. What is distracting you? What decisions are you making that do not serve you? When it comes to refocusing on your marriage, one of the biggest questions that you have to ask yourself is, where is my attention going? Who has my attention that should not have my attention? What has my attention that should not have my attention? Is your ego distracting you? Is your selfishness distracting you? Your lack of patience, your lack of kindness, your harsh tongue? Is your disrespect? Is it distracting you and distracting your marriage and distracting you connected with your spouse? What is this? I want you to ask yourself this seriously right now. What is it that has you distracted? Your assumptions? You're taking things personal? When you come home, you spend hours on the phone with your mom and your sisters. Is that distracting you? Taking you away from spending that time with your husband and your children? When you get off work, do you just go and go to the cigar bar and you stay there for the next 4 or 5 hours instead of coming home to your wife and your children? What is distracting you? And listen, I coach people all the time, so I understand that there are reasons, right, why we get distracted. I get distracted, right? That's the reality. As human beings, we are going to get distracted, but we also have the power to get undistracted. We have the power to focus and to refocus. Many of us focus on the why we are distracted instead of putting that energy into letting go of the distraction. As you're at work and a nice young lady, y'all just happen to just meet each other every morning to get coffee. Is that a distraction for you? You go to the gym and somehow or another now you and this guy just come to the gym at the same time. Listen, it may not be something conscious for you. All of a sudden, he wants to help you with your form. Is that a distraction? What and who is getting your attention that should not get your attention? Let me tell you something. The enemy cannot destroy you, but what the enemy can do is distract you. That is one of the biggest ways that the enemy gets us, through distractions. TV, social media, scroll, 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 scroll. That's one of the biggest distractions. Looking at how our spouse is showing up. That's a distraction because that means I'm focused on you and I'm not focused on me. What has your attention that should not have your attention? How are you showing up? I want you to think about this. And I want you to think about this taking your spouse out of the picture, taking how your children are behaving out of the picture, taking how your boss is showing up out of the picture. We cannot keep giving the responsibility to other people, even when other people are showing up in a way that they should not show up. Why? Because the only thing you could do is control you. You can't control anybody else, but you can control how you show up. What is distracting you from showing up as your best self? What is distracting you from showing up as the wife and the husband that God has called you to be? What's keeping you from reaching the milestone that you say you want to reach? So many of us, we just praying. We're like, man, God's got to do it. I'm just praying that God takes care of it. I'm just hoping that God is sick of y'all. Seriously. God is sick of y'all because y'all keep putting the pressure on God. And God is like, I've given you everything you need. Every tool that you could possibly have, I've given you. It is actually in you. The problem is you are not going inward to utilize the tool. You just letting the tools just sit there and rust. What you feed grows, and what you starve dies. What state is your marriage in? What is the state of your spouse's heart? How are you feeding your spouse's heart? I'm not asking you how they feeding your heart. That's neither here nor there. It's not in the grand scheme. We're like, we cannot be myopic in this marriage game. We have to have a broad view. You have to be focused on multiple things. You can't just be I'm just focused on my spouse and how my spouse is showing up and how my spouse is treating me and how they're disrespecting me and they talking to me crazy. Remember, we are a mirror of one another. And let me say this. Some of you may say, well, I'm showing up the right way. I'm showing up how I should. I'm serving my spouse. I'm loving my spouse. I'm doing the things that they're asking. But they're X, Y, and Z. It's still your fault. No, I'm going to put the onus on you because you chose them. Like, that's the reality. You chose them. So these are the cards that you have. How are you going to play your hand? That makes a difference, even in the spouse that you chose. Listen, we have clients, our own story. I don't even have to go to our clients, our own story. We chose one another and we were unhealthy for many years. Unhealthy. Easily could have gotten a divorce. Thought about it so many times. Said we were going to do it. That's it. We're done. We were distracted because we were so focused on what each other were doing. We were not focused on how we were showing up. We were not focused on the fact that we were not feeding each other's heart. We just were locked in on the fact that, you know what? You are not being the husband that I want you to be. You are hurting me. I don't feel loved. All the things. All the things. But I didn't see how he wasn't feeling loved. How I was hurting him because I was so distracted, focused on my own feelings and emotions. How are you being distracted? This is the reason why I keep pressing this, y'all. In the work that we do every day, we are seeing that it really is a problem and we get it. We've been together 30 years. We understand. It is easy to get caught up in what someone else is doing or not doing. Outside of your marriage, your boss, you could be a horrible employee, but you're going to find a reason why your boss is wrong. You can be the parent who you don't listen, you yell, you tell always telling your kids what they doing wrong, but you're going to find a reason why you need to show up that way because they're being this type of child. It's easy to do that. It's easy to show up like that as a basic human being, as a below average human being. And the only way you're not going to show up like that is if you retrain your brain, is if you stop and you focus on the things that deserve your focus. Being patient, extending grace, connecting with your spouse's heart, understanding their heart, and giving them what it is that they desire, even when you feel like they don't deserve it. Even when you know that they are not doing the same for you. We are commissioned to be this, not do it just because somebody is doing it for us and to us, but simply to be this. What part of your life are you feeding that you don't need to feed anymore? Who are you talking to that you need to stop talking to? Whose number is in your phone that doesn't need to be in your phone? What conversations are you having that you don't need to have anymore? How much time you spending gossiping? Distraction. You need to stop. I love my family. I'm not on the phone with my family 24/7. I'm just not doing it. I'm not. I have a dear friend of mine who can be on the phone a lot. And I had to restrain myself to be like, Shirley, you can't worry about hurting her feelings. You cannot be on the phone because it is a distraction. You have things to do. You have to be brave enough and have enough courage to make the hard decisions. And I know for some of you, because I already know, somebody listening to this is engaged in a relationship you shouldn't be engaged in. You just are. Whether you're talking to them, whether you're intimate with them. And right now, that's your safety blanket in your brain. That's your place of safety. That's your place of comfort. That's where you're getting your peace. That's only going to last for a second. The ramifications of that, you are not going to like. That is a tool to distract you, but not only to distract you, but to destroy you. The enemy does not want families. The enemy wants broken, wounded families, not whole, healthy families. You need to break your distraction and you need to do it now. And my grandma used to say, and my mom used to say, everything comes out in the wash. And it does. Everything comes out in the wash. You are hiding it now, but it will not stay hidden forever. And people will be damaged because of the decisions that you're making now. And this goes for all of us, whatever decisions that we are making. To you, it may seem like, oh, it's just a small thing. It's no big deal that, my spouse is tripping because I go and I spend a couple of hours a day with the fellas. Or I go, to happy hour with my girls. They tripping. No, they're not tripping. Every once in a while, absolutely. 3, 4 days a week? No, that's the problem. When you add the time up, look at how much time you're taking away from your household. I had a question that I wanted to answer, that I wanted to, um, wanted to scroll down. Hold on, guys. Good morning, beautiful people. Good morning. Can you scroll down so I can get to the flash?
I can't. I can't right now. I can't right now.
Okay. So yeah, there was a question. If you could ask the question again, I'm sorry, I missed the question. Um, I would love to answer that. Good morning, Rise and Refocus. Thank you guys for being here. I appreciate you for being here. My goal is just to help everyone that I possibly can to get on the same track, get in alignment spiritually. Right? There's 6 pillars in life: spiritual, mental, emotional, physical, sexual. We're not going to talk about the sexual, right? But we can definitely focus on your spiritual, mental, emotional, physical, and financial. And learning about can we move that?
I can't.
And learning about attachments from our therapist, how can avoided how can avoided attachment and anxious attachment, you said something together. I believe I get the gist. I can't see that word. I guess how can you guys come together? Anxious attachment and avoidant attachment. The first thing is, I'm guessing you understand which one you are. Is your spouse aware of which attachment style they are? In order for you all to come together, You have to, number one, be aware of what that looks like. How does that show up? So I'll say this, because like I said, you can only do something about you. How do you show up? If you know what your attachment style is, this is where self-awareness comes in. What does that look like when you are operating in your avoidant attachment style or your anxious attachment style? I want you to really list it out. I don't want you to think about it. The paper remembers what the brain forgets. I want you to write it out. When I'm operating in this, what does that look like for me? And you also can do this. When your spouse is operating in theirs, what does that look like for them? So either way, when you see these behaviors pop up, you have a choice to make. How are you going to show up? Internally, when you start feeling anxious, when that thing jumps on you, or when you want to avoid and you want to just back out, there are certain feelings that happen in your body. You can feel it. Your brain is racing. There are thoughts going on that say, I need to go, I need to avoid this. I need to shut down. I need to back away. Or I'm getting anxious. I'm getting tense. Like you're feeling it. So we can't say we don't know that it's coming. We don't know that it's showing up. When you have these feelings, instead of jumping on the train and letting it just fly and just go, regulate your nervous system. So 9 times out of 10, that means you can't talk right now. Instead of avoiding by shutting down, you say, you know what, right now, how I'm feeling is not a good time for us to continue this conversation. Let me go and just get my mind together and I'll come back and we can continue discussing. That's the power that you have. When you see that your spouse is operating in their attachment style and it's starting to get negative and there's anxiousness there or there's avoidance there, calm the environment. Don't jump on the same page as them. You be on the opposite page. If they're getting anxious, I don't know what that looks like for your spouse, but you do. How can you calm the situation? Number one, you can just back off if you're putting verbal pressure on them. Just stop talking about the situation. And everybody's spouse is different. But one of the things you could do is just take their hands and be like, okay, babe, let us just both breathe. Or you could take them and hold them. If your wife, however your wife is showing up, you could just hold her and be like, okay, babe, I know right now you are feeling anxious. Let's just breathe. Let's just hug it out. Let's breathe right now. I don't want you feeling this way. I want us to be on the same page. I want to understand your heart. There are narratives going on in your brain when you're going to your attachment style and in your spouse's brain when they're going to their attachment style. You can control your narrative and you can help your spouse calm theirs. So I hope that helped. Don't jump on the train. Do not jump on the train. And listen, it's so interesting because you understand your attachment style. So, and you know, this is my attachment style and this is how it shows up. So I want you to not compare. Don't compare. Their attachment style is worse than mine. Don't do that. So many times we do that. And that is such a destroyer in relationships. We compare our sins. We compare your unhealthy to my unhealthy, your attitude to my attitude, what you did and what I did. And 9 times out of 10, it's always what I did wasn't nowhere as bad as what you did. How I show up isn't as bad as how you show up. My attachment style isn't as bad as your attachment. Don't do that. All you're doing is jumping in to the distraction, and you're not focused on the thing that's going to bring healing, growth, connection. I needed to hear this. Thanks. Absolutely. 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 Any more questions? If not, I want to leave you guys with this. I want you to, I like to give action steps. So I want you to think of, it's not going to be hard. Think of some distractions that you have that you need to cut out. What are some distractions that you are dealing with, that you are engaging with? I don't even want to say dealing with, engaging with, that you need to cut out. That you're unwilling. Up to this point, you've been unwilling to let go. You've been unwilling to show up a certain way. And so many times we say people aren't able. Like they have the inability. It's not the inability, y'all. We're all able and capable. We are unwilling. And that's one of the biggest challenges when it comes to us refocusing and focusing on the things that need to be focused on and the things that are actually going to bring us the things that we actually want, which is marital bliss, which is peace in our home, success in our life, walking in alignment with God, being in alignment with our purpose, has nothing to do with inability. It is all about being willing. And that's what God is calling all of us. God has only asked one, he said, be willing. Just be willing. Are you willing? Are you willing to show up differently? Are you willing to let go of the distractions? So that's one action step that I want you to do. Think of the distractions that you have, and I want you to have a conversation with yourself. You and God come together and talk about what your steps are going to be to letting go of the distraction. It's an easy conversation. You know what you're doing. You know what's distracting you. And listen, when it comes to how often are you going to be live? I'm live for 12 weeks. Well, this is the fourth week. 12 weeks every Wednesday at 6:30 a.m. on Wednesdays. And listen, if God tells me to extend it beyond 12 weeks, absolutely, I am going to do that. Thank you for joining. Appreciate you.
Ask them to join on YouTube sometime.
Also, you can join on YouTube if it's
Tap in with my
you
message.
guys can, yep, tap in with our Marriage is Dope podcast. Shannon and I, we will be starting our podcast back up. We're excited. We have some episodes dropping, going live for you. We have some things coming down the pike for you all. So thank you for tapping in. Another thing I want to encourage you to do. I want to encourage you to first fruits. We talk about first fruits, right? From a Christian construct, your first fruits, tithe, right? Your tithe and offering. I'm talking about your first fruits now as it pertains to your time. TIME. How are you spending the first 15, 20 minutes of your mornings? What does that look like? All of these things help you to either focus or to not be focused, to stay on track or to get off track, to be in alignment or to not be in alignment. I'm telling you, how you start your day, 9 times out of 10 is an indicator on how you will end your day. It is an indicator of how you will go through your day. How are you starting your day? Y'all think I want to be up at 5:30 in the morning? I don't want to be up at 5:30 in the morning. Some of y'all work 9 to 5, and listen, you may have to do that. I don't have to do that, and I don't want to do that. I'm here because this is what God has called me to do, and I want to be obedient. This is how I start my day. On Wednesdays and on Monday and Tuesday and Thursday and Friday, Saturday and Sunday, I started hands down 100% before my feet hit the ground. I'm just laying there and I'm praying. I'm just talking to God. I'm just talking to God. Shannon will tell you, there'll be times where he'll touch me and I'll be like, honey, I'm praying right now. Or he'll just know, he'll touch me and I won't give a response, and he'll know, oh, she's praying. Who's guiding your day? Who and what is guiding your day? Because many of us, we're jumping out of the bed and we're allowing our flesh to guide our day. We are so distracted. It is just, it's killing any opportunity for you to have a healthy marriage. Any opportunity for you to connect with your spouse, for you to connect with your children, for you to build your household spiritually, financially, emotionally, mentally, physically. You are so far from being focused on that. And so what happens when we starve something, just like those babies? They ate physically. That's what the deep part is. Those babies physically ate, but they were not nurtured. They were not talked to. They were not cared for, and they died. This is science, y'all, with plants. When we talk to our plants, listen, go talk to somebody who I don't even know what it's called. People who are into plants and they take care of plants and all of that. I don't even know the professional name for that. But go to one of these landscape places and talk to these people who are invested in plants, and they will tell you when you talk to the plants, they thrive. When you love on those plants and you rub them, they thrive. Yeah, you can water your plants and feed them, but there's some people, they'll go to work and they leave music playing for their plants. And they are the most beautiful plants that you've ever seen. That's just plants, y'all. What do you think happens when you speak life and you pour into and you love on and you encourage and you nurture the person you sleep next to? What do you think will happen? It's the same thing. We appreciate you. Thank you so much, Dee. I appreciate you because you could be anywhere else, but you're here. So I appreciate you. Is this recorded so we can listen again? Christine, yes, on YouTube. If you go to YouTube, you subscribe to our YouTube, and you can listen to today and the previous ones that we have done, that I've done on YouTube. My Marriage is Dope podcast. My Marriage is Dope podcast. Guys, listen. Thank you for being here. Thank you for joining Rise and Refocus. Listen, you can do it. Choose your heart. Some of you, this is what I hear from my clients. Coach, it's hard. It's hard, coach. And listen, it is hard, but you're going to choose your heart. You have the heart of not doing it and all the consequences that will fall from you not making the hard decisions or the hard of doing it, and reaping all the blessings that you will receive from making the hard decisions and letting go of the distractions and focusing and feeding that which should be focused on and that which should be fed. You're going to deal with hard. So now you have to choose which hard you want to deal with. Came in late, but I enjoyed the talk. Very helpful. Thanks. Absolutely. Thank you, Lori. Thank you so much for coming in. I saw Dr. Cheyenne Bryant clip on IG about honest and transparency. Okay. Awesome. Awesome. I'll have to check that out. I mean, I know she has a lot of stuff out there, but yep, being honest and being transparent, it's a gift that you give yourself. It is a gift that you give yourself. Other people just benefit from you being honest and transparent. You know, there was a point in time where it was hard for me to be honest and transparent. I would tiptoe around things and I would give bits and pieces because of my brain. I'm like, well, I don't want to say this and I don't want to hurt Shannon, or I don't want to make myself look a certain way if I'm completely honest about how I feel. That was torture. I was tormenting myself. These aren't that. I was tormenting myself. But honey, let me tell you something. Shannon be like, girl, man, you jumped in on that honesty and transparency train, and you just going full steam ahead. You doggone right. There's freedom in that. I don't feel no guilt no more. I don't feel no, I gotta protect people. No, I'm just, if my honesty and transparency hurts you, that's your issue. That's not my issue. You know why? Because I'm not doing it with ill intent. I'm simply being honest. So now I don't have to feel bad. Shannon gave me my glasses. You see, that's what love does. Love will give you your glasses, honey, so you can see, so I don't have to squint. So much freedom. Yes, there's so much freedom in being honest and transparent. Can you talk about transparency, importantly about marriage? A lot of times we don't want to be transparent because we're concerned about how we can come off or how it affects our spouse. Um, my thing with being honest and transparent is, how are you being honest and transparent? Some people can be that way, but you're harsh with it. You just say it any way you want. There's no softness, and softness doesn't mean sugarcoating. Softness doesn't mean um
You can use me.
you see my partner over here talking in the background, talking about you can use me. Because Shannon, for instance, very, very transparent, right? He could be brutally honest. And sometimes you see the key word, brutal. And so it's like you're just saying it, and with that energy, there's an energy to it. And we respond to energy. We just do. So timing is important. Sometimes you're honest and transparent at the wrong time. You have to learn to read the room, y'all. You can't just say, I have a feeling, I have a thought, I want to say X, Y, and Z. And you're not assessing where your spouse is. Is their heart even open to receive? Why would you want to say something to someone and their heart is not open to receive? So sometimes being honest and transparent, it doesn't need to happen right now because it's just not the right time. It's there, the heart posture is not right. I want you to check your heart posture before you are honest and transparent. I want you to make sure you're not lashing out with it. I want you to make sure that You're not saying it in a way where you know it's going to offend them because you're being offensive. There's a difference when you offend them just because they don't like it. That's their problem. But when you want to use your transparency and your honesty as a tool to offend, that's when it becomes a problem. You know your heart posture. Be honest, be transparent, and do it in love. That's all I ask. I ask for Shannon, honey, just do it in love. It don't have to be harsh. It don't have to be this rah energy with it. That's unnecessary because now I have to force myself to try to hear what you're saying by not looking at your body language, by not listening to the tone that you're saying it in. Don't put your spouse in that